Well, what are you most interested
Well,
in?
I guess with your relatives, first of all, if you could talk about your uncles, I guess, and aunts, and your grandparents, what you remember or know about them. And
Why don't you start with each member of your family and tell what they did?
Well,
How are the Grays related?
Jane, our mother's sister, Jane Allen. So her name was really Lydia Jane Allen. Married Harry Gray. And I think he was Harry Simeon Gray because they always called him Syme. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. She was the second oldest girl, because Aunt Mame, Mary Allen, and she was Mary Ellen Allen, like Grammy Knowlton, like, you know, where I showed you the other day.
yeah, where that other grave was. So Grandma Dot Cooper was the youngest,
She was the youngest, yes.
and there are how many children?
6.
6 altogether?
Mm-hmm.
So one of them was Gray. She married.
Husband Roscoe, Aunt Mame,
Yeah, Aunt Jane.
then Charlie, Sam,
And Mom.
Mom.
Yeah, yeah.
So what do you know about Aunt Jane? Did she live here in Rockport or up in Maine? Or?
Yeah, Pigeon Cove. Just as a kid, I have recollections of going to visit her. And they lived on the edge of the dock, it seemed
Right
to me.
down in back of the old tool company. You know where we showed you where the tool company is?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. There's a wharf, and down there was some, they always lived in old ramshackle houses. He was a fisherman who never made any money at all. All his money had to go into the boat all the time. There's always something wrong with a boat when you own a boat and make a living from it. That's all I can remember about that. What I remember most is Syme could not stand beside Aunt Jane without rubbing her back or showing some sign of affection to her, and I always loved the man for that reason. Yeah.
I did. Then she had a daughter, and then 4 sons. And the daughter died.
Mary Alice died, and it must have been either diphtheria or scarlet fever because they didn't know enough. They had no antibiotics like they do today, you know. Mary Alice died when she was, what, about 13, I think.
Yes, so
I have one good snapshot of Mary Alice and Emma. And Hazel gave it to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then she had 4 sons. What was it? Harry. No, the oldest one was named for his father, wasn't it? Harry.
Roy.
Roy's the youngest.
Well, Harry, Richard, then.
Richard, oh, that's
Roy. No, Freddie was the youngest who got shot.
I thought Freddie was a little older than Roy.
Oh, well, it's possible. He was in between. Yeah. But I don't remember that.
But I do remember that when I was in high school, and the kids at Pigeon Cove went to Pigeon Cove, school in Pigeon Cove until 8th grade, I think, and then they came over to Rockport for high school. And I got to school one morning, and they were talking about a boy who'd been shot, and I discovered it was my cousin. But I hardly knew them. I didn't fraternize with them at all. And he and another boy had been target shooting in a field, and he went out to set up the target again, and the other boy shot. And he was hit in the stomach. Again, probably could have been saved if it were modern times, but this was about 1936 or 35 or 36.
You remember you were in high school?
Yes.
Because I was married by then and living up Squam Hill.
Yeah. I think Roy was just about my age. I might have been born in November and he the next May, or he in May and me in November, but he was the youngest of the family, sure.
Now, Freddie, Aunt Mame had, I don't know, the 2 or 3 boys that she lost, and Jane had another Freddie. They had twins. She had twins somewhere along in there. Yeah, now, this is all in the town hall. And I wrote it all down for Hazel, and maybe I've got it somewhere in Florida where I live now. But they both had Freddies. And then she had twins, Freddie and something else. And then in between there lost them as babies, you know. And then she named him Freddie again, and Aunt Mame had a Freddie. And I don't know why Fred was such a popular name, but it must have some family history. There must be some reason why they chose Fred for their children.
The Hazel that Stella is talking about was Richard's wife. She's Richard's widow. I guess he was the only one of the 4 boys who ever married.
Got married, right.
The others all stay around Pigeon Cove and fished.
Oh, and lobster.
Yeah.
And she
Okay, now, I guess I've gotten lost because I thought you were talking about the Gray family.
That's right, the Gray
Yeah.
family. The Hazel Gray that,
They were first cousins, weren't they?
yes, they were.
Yes, they were
Uh-huh.
Jane's children. And, yeah,
Okay.
They
and-
lived in Pigeon Cove, we lived in Rockport.
it was too far.
Yeah,
We couldn't go see them
meet.
very much.
You never get together. Separate village altogether.
Yeah, right. Well, Pa used to borrow Charlie Lane's rubber-tired buggy and take Mom and me. I was the baby of the family for a number of years.
Yeah.
It took you 6.5 years to decide to appear. And we'd go over there and visit in the evening, you know.
You know, rubber-tired buggy, would that be horse-drawn?
That was
buggy?
a horse-drawn, a cute little buggy, just a one-seater buggy with big wheels. And to have rubber tires was something
That
special.
was a plush because they always had iron rims.
Sure, because most of them just had iron rims on the wheels.
So it'd be a softer ride.
Yeah. We were
Less
special.
noise.
None of them.
None of the 3 men married.
No. The 3 girls married and the 3 men never did. Sam or Charlie, Eleanor, or Roscoe. No?
I remember the names, Sam, Ellen, Charlie.
Yeah.
Ellen.
And Sam owned 10 South Street, and Charlie Ellen owned 22, and a lot of others. He owned half of Mrs. Dobson's house. I don't know who owned the front half.
I
but she
think
They
he
must have,
Thought he owned
you
all
must
of
have been
it.
industrious or something. They all owned property.
Well, he did later.
And you didn't own property in those days unless you had a decent job and income.
Well, he worked
Farmers.
in the
Yeah,
fields.
farmers.
In the summer, he would live in an old garage.
Yeah, they had no expense.
Yeah, right, and
Rent.
and rent all his houses.
Oh, well, that's what his income was. Yeah.
And he, I forget the one time when we lived at 16 South Street. Across the street was Billy Otis Pool
Oh, sure.
and Annie Pool, and she took in boarders, and it was a lawyer from Newton. I can't remember his name anymore. His family who was there and others, and she needed some help on lunchtime, and I was about, I don't know, I must have been 12, 13. I went over to help her and wait on table and so forth, and Charlie Ellen and her husband Billy Otis came in from working in the fields, and Charlie Ellen had a wash basin of water washing his face and hands, and she had some teaspoons that needed cleaning before she could set them on the table again for the dessert, so she dipped them in the pan that Charlie Ellen
Sure.
had his
Went some more.
Yeah,
Water.
wiped them off
He
and
never got over that.
set them on the table.
Oh, gracious, she wiped him off, didn't she?
The water she washed them in got them dirtier than they were in the first place. I'd rather use a spoon I had used in my coffee than
Yeah.
to eat my dessert with, and I would one washing Charlie Allen's dirty.
Well, the
washing
people that
water.
used them didn't know
They
that.
didn't know
They
it,
didn't
no.
know how the spoons were washed or weren't.
I guess they lived to a ripe old age too. But
They all did.
that was so
yeah.
funny.
So, let's see, we went through Roscoe.
And then Aunt Mame would be next in
Aunt
order,
Mame
wouldn't
would be
she?
next in line, yeah.
I just remember her when she'd come to the house on a Sunday afternoon when she got through working for the week.
Yeah.
And when she was working for young Charlie Lane and Josephine, and they had 2 or 3 little kids, and they had curtains between a couple of the rooms, and She called them portières because that's what they used to be
portières.
called.
Right.
I remember saying, the kids say, Mary Knowlton says portières.
Yeah. Oh, I can remember her
Great
telling.
kids.
I can remember her telling when the triplets were born.
Oh,
Charlie and Josephine had triplets.
Well, they used to raise hens and they left the lights on all night. So she had triplets.
Oh, sorry.
So they always used to joke.
Oh.
You leave the lights off, the hen was light better.
Yeah, well,
Your wife was pregnant, so she had triplets.
No, but they said that she cursed him up and down. They never heard such language in the Addison Gilbert Hospital as when Josephine had those triplets. It was bad enough to have one, and then another came, and then a third. Yeah. But I don't remember. I do vaguely recall that. But I remember when Aunt Mame worked for the Murphys, of course,
Yes.
because well, you and I used to go there quite
Yes,
often for an
yes.
afternoon with Mildred. Yeah. Was it Carol?
yes,
Carol.
but she preferred to be called Carol.
Oh,
It was Murphy.
she was
yeah.
Mildred. Well, Mrs. Murphy was always so nice.
Yes.
Now, how about Aunt Mame's husband?
Well, he was dead long
Yeah, I
before
never
any
knew
of us
him.
would know anything
He was
about
dead before.
Oh, yeah. We wouldn't know anything about him except where he's buried, as we showed you the other day, you know. And I don't even know what it said on that gravestone, because those old kinds you can't read anymore.
And who had the triplets now? Was that Aunt Mame?
Oh, no,
It's
no.
somebody she worked for.
Oh, that she worked for. Okay. All right.
The kids that said Mary Knowlton said portières.
Yeah.
And all of her children died before she died, except for that
Except for
yeah.
Tate, yeah.
your cousin.
Mhm. Ed, but he was always known as Tate. You'll find him in there too, Tate
Oh,
Knowlton.
really?
Yeah. You didn't happen to see him?
No,
I saw a Knowlton.
Yes.
Tate.
Ed Tate Knowlton, but it's not alphabetical or anything.
No.
So you have to go through the whole thing to find him.
Well, that-
And do you remember meeting any of they'd be your cousins, any of those cousins that died?
Not of Aunt Mame's, no, because they were all gone. Ed was the only one left. Our mother might have known Aunt Mame's children, but we wouldn't have ever known.
All right, and
And so many of them died practically at childbirth. You know, they used to have a lot of babies died, and or die even as small children. They have things that today they'd know what to do about, but they didn't then. You know. So I don't have any idea. I just remember she had a Freddie. But that's all, just from hearing my mother talk about it, you know, but not because I would have known.
What did Sam do? I don't know. He must have been a farmer
He
too.
was a farmer too, I guess.
You're all either farmer or fisherman.
Yeah, he just
There's
had
nothing
that.
else.
Yeah, Sam
in
just
town.
had that little business on the side, you know, he had candy and cigarettes and stuffed cigars. He used to sell out of his bedroom. Seems to me he kept them locked up in his bedroom. I think it was his bedroom, just off the kitchen, that old house.
now who's Sam again?
He's one of our mother's brothers.
Oh, all
There
right.
were 6 in the family, and he must have been along about the 4th.
Fourth, I think, yeah.
He died like the day after Dad and I were married in 1942. And so I didn't hear about it for a while, but it wasn't any great. No, he didn't have any love for him or anything to do with him. It's, our oldest brother was the one that had the most to do with him. He kept borrowing money from him. That's what.
Carlton, I know
Yeah.
it. Every time he'd come up from New Bedford, he lived in New Bedford, and Sam was good to him, but most likely died with Carlton owing him a lot of money.
Well, Carlton died first.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sam was your uncle.
Yeah, where our grandmother lived.
So David, what do you want to know next? Where are we?
Well,
Down to Aunt Jane?
I think
Well,
so, yeah.
I've told you about Aunt Jane.
Yeah, we talked about her
Yeah.
family. And then Charlie Allen, who was very much a recluse.
Old hermit.
Yeah. In the winter, I guess all he did was sit and
Wiggle his
teeth.
That's all you can remember seeing.
He never went to a dentist, as far as I know.
Table.
So he pulled out his own teeth. So he got wiggly.
Now, what did he do? Was he a fisherman?
A farmer, more or
Farmer?
less. Worked for pool
Yeah,
and washed his hands in a basin.
But he owned he owned property.
Yes.
He owned a lot of property, yeah.
It's remarkable how those people were ever able to own anything, because they just farmers. Rockport was a great place to farm.
Yeah, you're surprised how he could have saved enough money to buy that up home.
I don't think so.
And all those fields.
Yes, it is. No?
Up where the Rockport High School is now, all those fields, I
Yeah.
think were pools.
There were Billy Otis's. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, and R. I mean, there
Yeah.
was R, and his son came along.
Well, I know
Yeah.
somewhere, said Charlie Allen had money.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
because he owned his own house, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he got the money.
Saved every cent. I guess he had a
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just didn't spend any.
Well, one thing he bought was from George Harvey. He bought some land in West Palm Beach,
Oh
Florida,
yeah, well, they
which turned out to
got water.
be nothing at all.
Yeah,
It was-
a lot of people lost
gone.
money. They
Yes,
gave George Harvey money to invest in Florida,
yes.
and he went down there and just took land. And he finally wound up in bankruptcy. The federal government sued him. He had to pay a $2 million fine. So he was broke after that.
That was the,
I remember that deed
oh yes, when
when he died.
Charlie died.
You heard a deed?
The lawyer found the deed and went in to took the
Investigated?
time to find out, yes, where if that land, if he still owned that land, if he did, that would be worth millions. But he didn't. The deeds were worthless.
I guess he actually sold land that was underwater.
I, yeah. And Charlie Allen was another one I never felt any affection for.
No, no, no.
Never called him anything but Charlie Allen, never uncle.
Never Uncle Charlie.
Never called Sam Uncle Sam either, but Roscoe, he was special.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose because of the way he treated us, the other two.
Funny there'd be such a difference in brothers.
Yeah.
Well, the other two were like old hermits.
Yeah, they never got out of Rockport.
No,
Never went
no,
anywhere,
he got out
did
and
anything.
changed.
Roscoe did things, went places and did things. Yeah. And I was the baby for a long time, you know, so he spoiled me. And then Eleanor came along, so I was already grown up, so he transferred his affections to Eleanor. She was the
He bought
baby.
us both a piano.
Yeah.
Would he buy the biggest and the
Oh, I know it.
most cumbersome
Perhaps we
instrument?
take the house apart in order to get it in the living room.
Yeah.
And which house would have been put in?
The salt box, the
South
salt box,
Street.
16 South. In fact, the front hall, you know, is very